Hello. Last time we talked about traditional report cards and some of the problems that I've seen with the traditional report card, these letter grades that can have a tendency to feel arbitrary, they can be after the fact. We talked about a fixed mindset. We talked about the permanence of these things. We talked about the relationship between the educator and the student. Please go back and check out that post. This time, I want to get past that and talk about what a report card could be because the need persists. Parents every day are choosing an option for educating their child, whether that's homeschool in their own living room or a traditional public school, maybe a private school or charter school, and now micro schools happening all over the place. When you choose something like that, you do have this question. Was that a good choice? Is it working? Is it helping achieve the goals that I've set out for my own child and their education? So let's talk about that. A report card, of course, has its problems, as we've said, but having an at a glance look at how your child is doing, that need has persisted. I think everybody wants that. And so, interestingly, at Prenda, we've been thinking about this. Our mission is to empower learners. We want kids to get to a point where they know how to learn, they want to learn, they're very good at learning. And that's our obsession. That's what we're all about. So, we thought, what could a report card look like if that's your goal, right? If you want an empowered learner. And we've put together, we recently launched this a couple years ago, and we've had kids and guides using it. So it's been fascinating to kind of see this taking root in our community. I wanted to share a little bit about it and some of the principles that we've incorporated as we've put together the Empowered Learner Report Card. Hopefully this will be food for thought for you as you kind of think about what is important to me, what would I like to see. So our report card, the Empowered Learner Report Card, has three main sections. One of them is probably pretty similar to what you'd see in a traditional report card. This is demonstrated mastery of academic subjects. So every kid has a spot on the report card for math and another spot for English language arts. These are core subjects everyone learns. We think those are important. We believe that parents expect their child to learn reading and writing and math. And so we put that front and center in the report card instead of a letter grade, which, as we've talked about, can feel arbitrary. It can feel hopeless if you're a kid that has some academic gaps. Maybe you're just getting reinforcement that you're far behind, or it could feel too easy, right? If you're a kid that understands everything and you're ready for a new challenge. So instead of that, instead of everyone learning the same thing at the same time, Prenda, of course, and many others are looking at personalizing education. We do that through goals. So we sit down with the student, the parent, and the guide at the beginning of the school year, say, this is where you are in math and ELA. Where would you like to be by the end of the school year? And these kids set a long-term goal. So having a long-term goal in place, now you have two things. One, every day you have your bite-sized pieces. This is what I need to achieve today to help me achieve my long-term goal. But the other thing you have is a continuous monitor, a progress tracker. I get to see where I'm at relative to my goal. So I set this goal. I want to be here. I am currently here, and I can see the progress over time along with the pace. So that's featured in our report card, and I'll see if I can find a screenshot of that so you can see what I'm talking about. But what's nice about that is it's a challenge for everybody. Instead of being held to someone else's standard, I'm being held to my standard. I've chosen that goal. I've looked at it with my parent and educator. I chose something that's perfect to me. So I'm still learning math and English, all the same things that everybody learns, but I'm doing it at a pace that makes sense for me. And we'll see kids come in with grade levels of deficiency, right? Gaps in their foundational knowledge. It's totally fine. We pick them up right there. They often set really ambitious goals because those kids want to, get on track, so to speak. They want to move through the material. We also see kids come in, right around grade level, and sometimes they say that's fine. I want to set a goal of, 1 year of progress. But others will say, I want to get ahead. I really like math. I think I'm good at it. I'm going to push myself this year. It's fascinating to see kids take big leaps. We want to enable that, empower that, support that through our report card. So we want to show everybody, the child, every day the kids get to look at their report card and see where am I at relative to my goals, and then show that to their parents and the guide. So it's information that everybody has in contrast to that kind of after the fact report card sent home in the mail. This is useful, right? This is something very actionable. I see what it looks like. I don't like what it looks like right now. And so I'm going to go work hard and find, places where I can improve, I can master more content, I can get help where I need it and achieve. So that's the the mastery section of the Empowered Learner Report Card. Second section is a portfolio. You'll hear about this as you talk about, new ideas for assessing education. We think it's really good to give kids a sense of just empowerment. Like, this is my work. We do a lot of inquiry at Prenda. So kids meeting together, they're doing maybe a group activity, and I'm in charge of leading my class in a debate or a discussion or a science project. And in doing that, I'm having an educational experience that I'd like to document and remember and show off. Frankly, I want to showcase the work that I've done. So our kids get to put together a portfolio. It's really easy for them to do. They get to keep artifacts, some of them offline things like, maybe a photo of a poster that I've put together or something like that. A lot of them, it could be a YouTube link, a video that I've created, or a slide presentation in Canva, or a Google Docs essay, or a PDF. So all of these different artifacts kind of coming together, and I'm showing my parents, I'm showing my peers, I'm showing my guide what I did. This is work that I've done. This is my education. So this is something that's really fun. It's been cool to see kids take this and run with it. Each portfolio, of course, looks different, and we want that. We want that to feel very personal, and we want each child to feel proud of the work that they've done. So mastery goals, portfolio. The third piece of what I think belongs in an Empowered Learner report card is actual measures of how kids feel about themselves as a learner. So we're asking kids questions once a week. We ask them things we've borrowed, of course, from social science, but things that look at engagement and love of learning. How did you feel about learning this week? It's a really simple survey. It's given to kids as young as 5 years old. We have kindergartners in our system. They're answering with emojis for the most part. But what we're doing actually is not a cartoon. There's real science behind it. We get to ask about locus of control. Do you feel in control of the learning that happened this week, or is it more something that happened to you? Do you feel motivated? Where's your motivation level coming from? And I love asking kids this question. We ask them about the degree of difficulty. How hard was school this week? Was it, too hard, way too hard, too easy? We're encouraging them to try to get themselves to the kind of just right zone where you're stretching yourself, you're pushing yourself, but it's not, overwhelming or discouraging or too easy. So putting that together, collecting that data from children as they answer these questions every week, and then presenting it back so they can see where they're at, their parents can see where they're at, and it's rounds out the picture of an empowered learner. An empowered learner, of course, chooses to learn, and a lot of what we're asking in these mindsets and attitudes questions really show that. We get to see if a kid is at a point where they're choosing to learn. Couple that now with the portfolio we just talked about and the goals. You put it all together and you have a kid that you can see is becoming an empowered learner. The other thing that I love about this is it's very easy to look at an empowered learner report card and find an action to take right now, right? So if a kid feels like school is way too hard, let's go have that conversation. Let's look for resources, look for ways. Maybe the goal that they set at the beginning of the year is overwhelming. They're feeling discouraged, despondent. Let's talk about that. We can maybe adjust the goal. Maybe we get you more help. If we can look at somebody's goals and they're way ahead of schedule, everything's happening too quickly, maybe that's a conversation where we say, hey, I can see you're going to hit this goal. What do you want to talk about next? Maybe there's an additional goal we could add in. Maybe there's something else you'd like to learn. I've seen kids pick up foreign languages or coding in lots of different directions. There's many things to learn, as we all know, and we want to see kids taking that on, making that choice, and becoming empowered learners. So just some ideas I wanted to share about what a report card could look like in contrast to the letter grades and kind of the traditional way that it's been done. We've been, again, fascinated to see this in action. We've done it now for thousands of kids. So it's fascinating to see what happens when you give this information directly to a young student, see what they do with it, how they use it as a tool. And by and large, this is not a situation of kids playing games or working the system. This is a tool that they know is given to them to help them become the best version of themselves, to become an empowered learner. So that's what we're working with. Wanted to share that with you. I'll see if I can put some screenshots in the post, but I hope this is helpful to you, and I hope you'll consider incorporating some of these ideas in the work that you're doing as well.